Good evening and welcome, everybody. It's nice to see you here today. There we go. Good evening and welcome. As you can see, I have some extra co-hosts today. It's been a very exciting week for the farm. We've had 28 chicks hatch. So that's been a very exciting thing happen this week. And they are just 2 days old. I'd like to shout out to the replay crew, anybody who is watching back later on. Have your say, make comments, leave comments. I will get back to you. Join in the conversation. It's always great to have you along with us. And again, the community part of this is really important. So chat in the comments, and we'll get to read some of those out. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. But if you could be so kind as to either start with a capital QQQ or write any questions in capital letters, that helps me very much to be able to pick out the questions from the rest of the chat. I say hi to people who are in. So we'll start at the beginning. First person in was Rob. There we go. Rob was in, and it's nice to see you, nice and early. Thank you for being here. Always nice to see you. And I've been watching Rob. He's had a brilliant week. He's been potting some of his things on. His petunias are looking really good. And his peppers have an amazing root system on them. I was really impressed watching those. Jason's in, thank you. Chicken nuggets, yes. Some of them will eventually be chicken nuggets, I'm sure. And Jason is in the midst of planting all his poisonous garden plants and getting those all in. And Steve's allotment garden, northeast. Hi, Steve. You're in too. Nice to see you here. Okay. And without further ado, we're going to introduce. My guest. And again, very familiar face now. This is the third appearance. This is a lady who is really interested in self-sufficiency. And she's an educator on YouTube, but also she educates her own children at home and really felt like she could help present the subject today. And so I'd like to bring onto the stage Kirsty of Hart Homestead.
Hi, everyone.
No, not going to do that. No. Okay. We might take the chicks down for a minute. We'll put them back up later. So Kirsty's here because she felt she could really add something to the conversation. You've worked within early years,
yes,
and at school, and now you're educating your own children at home. And today we're talking about activities for children within school, within the gardening, and getting them interested in and passionate about wildlife and growing and all those good things.
Yes.
Okay, so we were, I hate the term spitballing, but that's what we were doing, weren't we? We were just having a really good think about what activities have worked really well in the garden for our own children and would do for others. And one of the first things that you said was the RHS School Gardening Awards.
Yes. I thought I'd share about this because I'm not sure if people would know about it without going to look. So because it's classed as a school gardening award, it is also available for parents and carers to do, along with people who run clubs such as Cubs and things. So you don't quite get as much as the schools get. So you'll get a certificate at the end of each one and some seeds. If you're in England, Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland, you just get the certificates. And it's what you do is you just send pictures in and a little bit of written work. So the first one's something like 100 words. It's really simple to do, and they'll send you a certificate and some seeds, and it's available from tiny children right up to teenagers. So my three were teenagers when we did it. And there's 5 levels And it's free to do. You don't have to register. I did look to see if there was American and other country equivalents, but I had to keep registering, and I wasn't sure what it was like over there.
Okay.
I didn't want to just register to loads, but there possibly could be something like it. But you no longer have to register. You just upload the work, take some pictures. You don't have to have your children in the photos if you don't want to. It could just be the backs of the heads. So level 1's something like setting up a garden, doing something, planting some seeds or doing something. Then it just goes through the levels and it just gets a bit more harder, a few more words, a few more written things. And it's just basically what your children have learned in that time. And it's just something nice. I know when we grow things, we get the plant at the end of it or the crops at the end. But if your child likes certificates or you need evidence like I did because we home educate our children, it's just something nice that you can record their work over the year. So that's why I thought the RHS School Gardening Awards might help like children do things like that as well.
Okay, cool. And they've got a website which looks very easy to navigate. So so those are the 5 levels there. And how long approximately does it take to work through each level? Or is that
You can do it. You can do it as soon as. So if you already have a garden in place, you can send them all levels at once if you wanted to.
Okay.
And then it takes them a couple of weeks to read through your work and send a certificate. But it's not like a pass or fail thing. It's just you send them what your child's done, or the child writes what they've done, and you get the certificate. There's no, oh, you failed, you haven't met this, or anything like that. There's no scary fail or you need to do more. There's nothing like that. It's just, there's your certificate, enjoy these seeds, and it just comes
so
in the post.
it's really good and appropriate if people are home educating in particular. It's really exciting. Now, one of the things I've done with lots of groups, and you probably need a little bit of space, or it might be a project you want to put in your own garden. Let me just remove that from the stage. That would be building a willow tunnel. It's really great. It totally buys into that little boy fantasy of hiding in caves, making dens, playing in the back garden. And I found a website that, oh, hang on, I need to share that. So let me see. Let's see if I can find the one I want to share. There we go. So this website's really, really good. They sell all the products that you would need, but then you can also trim your own bits of willow, which is what I did to make my willow dome. And this website comes with some fabulous pictures, shows you how to lay it out. So it starts, what's stage 1? Getting started. So it's getting hold of your willow and preparing it, marking out your tunnel, taking off the turf. They lay ground cover down. Now I don't use ground cover, I use bark chippings, and that works just as well. And then they've got the tips that on how to lay out the. Oh, I didn't actually add it to the screen, did I? That was brilliant because I saw it. It was beautiful.
I thought you were still looking for it.
No. I was scrolling through. So this website, all the links are in the description. So if anybody wants to check this out. So this company is Musgrove Willows. They provide all the materials you would need for this project. But you can source them elsewhere. If you know somebody that's already got some willow, you can trim some bits off in the winter, or you can find someone local to you. You've got everything from the materials you'll need. They give you a list. They give you a list of the tools you'll need. and it's a really fun thing to do with the children. So you clear the grass. I use bark chips rather than weed suppressant membrane. It works just as well. And then they show you how to construct it. So that's a really good. It's a really good website to show you how to do it. And you kind of it looks really scary, but actually it's a really fun thing to do with children. It's quite simple. And so as long as you've got an adult kind of directing them, so you don't have just random sticks of willow all over the place, it's a really quite a simple thing to construct a tunnel. It's a great fun thing. And then as it starts growing and bushing out and leafing, the kids really love playing in there.
How long does it take to grow? Do you know until?
So it depends. It will. So if you put a willow tunnel in, it will leaf up that next summer. So the willow dome that I put in over this winter has got leaves on it now. Obviously, it will keep growing and keep needing to be trimmed and tied in year on year. I put in short willow rods, so it might take a couple of years to get to the height I want it to get to. But willow grows quite rapidly, so it's a good fun thing to do. And then once you've done your little tunnel or your small dome, then you can add to it. It's great. It's really adaptable and flexible. Of course, once you've got your willow tunnel, you can snip bits off as it grows in the winter time and then use them for other projects. Did you want to have a look at the comments for a minute, Kirsty?
Yes, I've just noticed one off Rob's attic, but there's quite a few things going on.
Ah, okay. I've got to scroll back. Let's see, where are we? Oh, yes. Rob's asking, may I be nosy and ask how much fertile eggs are? It depends where you get them from and who you know. I sell mine for £1.50 each because I'm new to the area, but you can ask for more. But because I'm new and people don't like to spend a lot of money until they know for certain that your eggs are good and they're going to hatch, it's easy to get people to part with cash for a slightly lower value, but anywhere between £1.50 and £2.50. And it also depends on the breed of chicken. The rarer they are, the more that they would cost. Who else we having? Hi, nice to see you in, Sean. Nice to see you here. And Mel, hi Mel, how are you? And Sean is in. I was just in the garden with the kids, 67 Fahrenheit here in Minnesota. Oh, that's a nice day. Planted things earlier than normal to take a risk. Peas, lettuce, chard kale, beets. It's hard to stop. Going back tomorrow there's more to that. I've started to write sewing as well. I'm a tiny child. I can imagine that. I think that shows in the love of the plants and the type of plants you love.
And he's dancing the other day too.
Yes.
That was his video.
Yeah. Potatoes and radishes, the other things I was putting in. And some of my radishes are already up.
Yeah, there's one by Rob's attic about the local council I'd like to mention.
Okay, let me see. Sean says parsnips are playing ball. Is it further down? Oh, hi Mo, nice to see you in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit further down.
Okay. There we
hi,
go.
Debs. Yeah. That one, I approached our local council and asked them if I paid rent on a half plot, could we get the local school kids involved? And they said, no, we don't want kids running all over the allotment site. Well, my dad's the secretary of the allotments near us. And I don't think they're actually allowed to say no if they've got space. So a couple of years ago, we had an incident with another committee member, and so I looked into the laws and things of it, and I think it's more about the relevant insurance and if the parent or guardians and things are there, and if you can put the right things in place. But I will look into it, and if I do find it, because I've got all the paperwork, because my dad's not good with written stuff, computer work, so I've got it all here. So I will have a look through, and if I do find it, because you've got a YouTube channel, I'll email you it, so you can see. Because there's been quite a few communities on ours, and I think a lot of the times they're put off because people do it for a few months and then they give it up, and it's just left to wreck and ruin, and left for the councils to clean up. But if it is a council run one and not a private one, I will look into that for you.
Good point. That is worth knowing. I think anybody that wants to grow food, if there's a space on the list, they're supposed to let people know. Sean's been trying to grow his parsnips. I know he said in his video he's trying to get them to germinate in record time, because he's late sowing them for his show parsnips, for his long parsnips. And growing in Hackney, I sowed my parsnip in a plastic container with a lid on to keep the soil warm. Yeah, I've just direct sown mine, so I'll see them in June. Hi Debs, welcome in. There we go. Crazy Life Host said, what are the benefits of willow? Well, first of all, if you've got damp ground, it'll absorb and take up a lot of that moisture, which is really useful. It's really good at holding soil structures together. So that's why you'll quite often find them on riverbank edges, because they have a fine network of roots that completely fill that soil up and hold it all together. I use a lot of my willow. I cut pieces off and I bash it with a hammer. I crush it, and then I soak it in water for a few days and make willow water. And that is as good as any rooting compound you can buy anywhere. Some people heat it, cook it, boil it for a little while, and then save it. But I just heat it with a hammer and stick it in the water. And again, it's so easy to take cuttings. It's so prolific that you've got constantly got material that you can cut to use for different things. I've got willow that I'm weaving the edges of my beds with at the moment down in the perennial garden. It depends on the type of willow you've got. You can grow willow that is grows in a rod-like form that you can coppice and use for weaving. And the other great thing, you can get some of the hybrid willows that actually can be grown specifically for firewood. So it's really lots of things you can do with willow. You got anything to add to the whole willow's brilliant list, Kirsty?
No, I don't know much about it. I haven't got the space for a tunnel, unfortunately. It'll be the first thing that goes up if I ever do, though. So it's something I do want to do.
Yeah. And Johnny, ice cream in the garden. It's not quite that warm here yet. Hopefully it will be. Just checking. There we go. You've got to be dedicated to have allotments. I just want to field. Come share mine, Sean. I feel with the farm, it's much more difficult to keep it looking neat. It seems to be a lot to keep looking neat and tidy. I think I need some more. Yeah, and again, it is always nice to have kids on the allotments. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want them. If you want children to respect the spaces and treat them well, then they have to be included, and they have to understand their value. By keeping them out, it doesn't help.
And there's no one to take over those allotments either. Once you get too old to do it, it's something, because we've got I've just seen Rob's attic put about the committee are old fashioned or something, and there is a lot like that where my dad is as well. and they don't want children there, but then no one's taken over the plots when there's no one around anymore, and it's just going to wreck and ruin. And it's such a shame when there's these children out there, teenagers, young people out there that really want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, willow roots, she had the roots ran up 15 feet away from it, so it didn't go with it. So that is one thing willow will do. They will send out a wide network of roots, but they don't inhibit the growth of things like grass. So to have that on a lawn and with certain things and in a perennial area would be good. I'm not sure that you'd want it's in your vegetable garden. I think you'd want it. If you had a perennial vegetable garden, it would probably go well there. But yes, it does help with soil erosion. I have to research willows because my horse, and I don't honestly know for horses. I do know you can. One of the things you can do is cut it for fodder for sheep, goats, and cows. I don't know. I know the nutrition needs for horses is very different. If you give them the wrong thing, they can get colicky and problems, can't they? There we go. Brilliant. Sean's sister makes willow baskets and fishing pots. Skill she dabbled in. Pete's actually been Pete Trinath has been dabbling in working with willow. And there's a lot of talk about parsnips here. Hi, it's nice to see you in, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Nice to have you here. And then Sean said, it starts in the schools, Joe. Everyone growing up in our house, every house has a vegetable garden for years. Yeah, it was just normal. Everybody grew vegetables when I was younger. Okay, that's interesting. So School Gardening Awards in Canada offer funding and recognition to schools enhancing green spaces with top opportunities, including $500 Nutrients for Life School Gardening Award in 2000. And there must be some more to that. That's really interesting. There are a number of schemes in the UK. Do you remember Tesco used to do gardening vouchers as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And Shawnee's trialling a gardening for kids curriculum this year called Dirt Academy Kids. Includes textbook, workbook videos and monthly group videos and call meetings and testing K2. I think you spoke about that in one of your lives, didn't you, Shawnee? I think we... Yeah, and there's more if anyone's interested on the Kids Foundation Garden Grant. Yeah, Earth Day's coming, so search for programs for children to plant a tree. That's a really good idea. Yeah, world trees are doing safe, non-toxic, beneficial. Oh, brilliant.
That's good.
That's good. I just know some plants you have to be careful with the horses because they've got too much protein. And when you turn horses out onto grass, sometimes you have to limit their exposure to it because it's going. So yeah, I was just going to say to Pete was trying with willow. Yeah, he's having a go. He's made a few things. Sean's on. Cut some willow years ago, cut into bits, used mark rows, and they started to grow without trying. They do. They will grow from just putting a stick in the ground. They're brilliant. Yeah, laminitis, that's the thing. I was thinking colic, but laminitis, yeah, fresh green growth can be high in sugar and potassium, could be restricted for horses prone to laminitis. So, yeah, I know there are quite a few people that are careful when they put their horses out in spring. Right, should we go back to this is my favourite one, I think.
Yes.
I, as an adult, enjoy this one when the kids say, and we've always had in our house a den building box. It's a box full of blankets and sticks and bamboo canes. I actually bought because bamboo canes can be quite pokey and I worry about eyes. I actually bought a box of 15 broom handles because they have the rounded ends, the nice smooth rounded ends, and they're not quite as long. And that went in in with the den building kit because it was just, my children are quite rampant and quite rambunctious, and they like to pretend sword fight, and it was just safe in the bamboo case.
Yeah.
And my oldest son was quite delicate and neat and tidy and would be careful with things, and that was fine. But some of the younger ones, and I found some pictures on the internet. I do have pictures of my kids, but I don't put my children on. So there is a child in this one, but just random pictures. And it's great because once you have them out in the garden and in that space, and building their dens, then it comes naturally that crawling around on the ground and looking at the bugs and things. It's getting them out in that space. So we can go really, really simple. But the one I love is this one.
Yes. I love that. I'd be sitting there with a cup of tea and a book.
Yeah, mine always, they always built den and then they'd all be like, can we sleep in it tonight? And I'd be like, no, I don't think it's very rainproof.
Not outside. Mine had a tent. They had a pop-up tent, but they wanted a real tent so they could sleep outside. Not one that wasn't waterproof. They wanted an actual camping tent. So we got one of them as well. But they still made awnings and everything using the den building stuff. So they still expanded it and made it into like a tent mansion.
Yeah, that's great. It's brilliant. I love the den building. I wanted to talk about the next one, but really quickly because I think everybody knows. Let's take that one off the screen. Everybody has done this before, which is to use the TP to grow the peas and beans up. And then, why not leave a little space in there so that they can climb in and sit inside there. Might encourage them to take some of those peas off and eat them. Some vitamins into them too. This is one that I do every single year with my children. Even though they're grown-ups, I'm like, you're going to come and help me build the bug hotels again, because the piles of sticks and things that you have for the bug homes, they kind of dilapidate over the year. They begin to rot away because you've got lots of insects that actually eat the wood, lots of different things. So they always need refurbishing every year. So that's one thing that I do. And I am going to share a couple of different websites because excuse me a moment. I think that's the right one. No, that's the right one. I have to actually click on it to share it with you. There we go. So I like this one because this is the simplest way to start with building a bug hotel. It's a terracotta pot and lots of different materials there. So they've got moss and sticks and bits of bracken and straw. And that's the simplest way, and it actually looks really pretty when it's done. And there's a list of different items to put in. And your simple terracotta pot. You can also just use a jam jar to put bamboo sticks in as a mini bug hotel. It shows you exactly how to build it, which isn't rocket science, but it's a really good way. And then I lay them on their sides just like that. And that makes a really nice little comfy bug home. Have you made many?
Yes, I've made tiny ones, right from mini ones when I did the after school gardening club when I worked in the school. So little tiny, they were like little paper cup versions.
Mm-hmm.
So the children could all take one home, but part of the class after school, it was to make one with pallets. So it was about 6 pallets high. And then we did one week we did like a little nature hunt, and we collected all the leaves and bits of sticks and anything, because we had apple trees and things there. And then the next week we built it, and it was just 6 pallets on top of each other. And then it was early years I worked with, so they were like 5 and 6-year-olds, and they just all put the sticks in, and then they loved it. So they loved going around every other week with like magnifying glasses and looking at all the creatures that they could find, and like holding them in the hand. And they were so gentle that, from being when they were doing the nature hunt part of it, they were really boisterous and everything. But once they saw that the creatures were living in there, they just went so calm, and they were so caring. And if other children came, they were telling them, "Oh, be careful, our bugs are in there." And it was just so lovely, and they were learning about them. It was really nice, and they kept fixing it if bits got knocked out by birds. And it was a really nice experience. Here we make some about the size that you've just shown there in the terracotta pot, but we've put ours in just some like a leftover wooden box. We've done one then in that way.
Yeah, and I put 2 websites in because this one has more detail and more complex designs. So there are, from the very small idea of a bottle that you can hang, you can have a pot or a tube, a box, or a big bug hotel, and then they have descriptions of each of the different
Yeah, that's similar
things
to
you
the
can
one
build.
we made, that palette one there. So we made a little sign as well for it.
And the other thing they have here is like suggestions of things that might live in there, which would be a great thing for the kids to spot and learn about different creatures as well. That's always good. What I'm actually thinking about is whether to, because I've got access to lots of pallets, whether to have a day on the farm, like an open day where people can come and help build a bug hotel. I think that'd be a really nice idea. Quite like that idea.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Really nice idea.
Yeah. Should we have a look at comments and see
Yes, so
what people are chatting, see if there are questions?
I think we're up to Jason.
It's mentioned
where we are.
Seaweed. Where are we now? Jenny's on holiday. There we go. Joe, will you sell the chickens at point of lay? Yes, some of them. So I have adverts running, and people can either have hatching eggs, or they can have day-old chicks, or they can have off-heat chicks, or they can have point of lay chickens. So yeah, it's up to them really. But obviously, the longer I keep them for, some people like to get them younger because it saves them the expense of paying for a fully reared bird. Jenny's in North Devon on holiday.
Oh,
Nice.
lovely.
Nice. Yeah, I bet you're in the local garden centre. Yes, while you're there, get some seaweed. I live so close to the ocean, and I haven't yet collected seaweed. My thought is, I'm not sure if I want it in my car. So I've got to go down with the trailer, get a bunch in the trailer. Jenny's in the local something, the local inn, the local tavern, I'm guessing. Yes, we were wondering whether to cover mud kitchens. Got to get them in the dirt, definitely. Yeah, mud kitchen's great too. Just scrolling through. we go. Best way, stand up straight, tie the tops. Apparently all the beans are easier to see and pick than that. Unfortunately,
Oh,
Grace Country Ways. Oh, we're talking about the teepees now, the bean teepees. I saw somebody that had a really clever trellis. It was hinged, so it was vertical, and then when they came to harvest it, they just pulled a lever and it tilted like this, and they walked under all the beans, and you could see every single one. I was like, I like that, but I would never be able to make something that complicated. It would be a mess if I made it. Okay, take care, Steve. Thanks for dropping in. Let's see. Oh, that's it. I had a quiet week. Jim comes back to being in the attic a lot, I suspect. Oh, and just a reminder, if you're watching UK time change, everything will be back to how it was a few weeks ago. So our clocks jump forwards again. Right, we've talked about dens, we talked about bug hotels, and growing things of their own. With that, it's always good to get something that grows quite quickly. I've got a boy that every year wanted to grow a pumpkin, a giant pumpkin. That's all he ever wanted to grow. Didn't want to grow anything else. I had a young lady. All she wanted to do was grow sugar snap peas every year, so she could eat it. And another one just wanted to grow strawberries every year, so they could eat strawberries every year. They're all fascinated with food things. Do you? Of course, your children grow food and things because they've done their gardening awards. But
so my eldest strawberries, middle my daughter everything. She loves courgettes, so with how much courgettes grow, but she eats 2 a day. And our youngest, he likes peas, just peas straight from the pod. When they were much younger, we read Jack and the Beanstalk, so they grew the beans, and so that was their own beanstalks. They really like that. I like linking it with whatever we're doing, so just to get them growing. If we read something and they grow something in there, or they have a different food, we see if it can be grown here and just give it a try, because it gets them experimenting with different foods as well, and us, to be honest, because some things we've never tried as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is to make it really creative and fun. So there's different things that you can do. One of the things I really like is not only to just grow things that they can eat, but to grow things they can collect seeds from. That's always really fun to do with the children. They plant a seed, they grow the plant, and then they see the flowers and the seeds, and they collect the seeds. It's like the whole cycle is really good for them. But there's lots of fun things you can do. This one is using eggshells.
That's something I've never done it in eggshells before. I've never.
No, we've used egg cartons, like the paper ones.
Yeah, I have, but I've never done it in an eggshell.
No, and the thing about the eggshells is you need to remember, if you're going to plant that then into the ground, if you're doing seed starts, to crack the shell, because although you can compost eggs, it takes really, really long time to break down. So you need to crack the shell so the roots can get out, and there'd still be shell fragments in there. But I like to. The kids love it. Like, it's fine for cress. That's great. With cress in there, and you harvest and eat that straight away. But the other thing is to we've planted things like onion starts in, and then you break the shell apart and plant those individually. Chives and garlic chives work really well because it looks like the long spiky hair.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an eggshell. So anything that can get planted. The egg boxes work really well as well. That's good fun. And let's take that one down. Worm habitat. This is something you've done with your children, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, oh dear, where are we? There we go.
Yeah, they really love doing this. It's just the worms. When you opened it up, the worm was tend to be in the middle, so they didn't see it. So it was a case of just trying to catch them, because you have to wrap it round in some sort of black paper or something dark.
Yes.
So it mimics them being underground. And so when they took it off to see them, they always had to lift the leaves off the top and look directly down, because they were never just on the side.
Yeah. So for that, I found, again, this is another free website with a free printable download that shows you exactly how to build it and lots of things that they learnt about it. And idiot-proof instructions, which I would probably need. Now, we did this in a great big tank. I'd never thought about doing it in a jar. But they have all the printable sheets as well that work with it. And one of the things that works to bring the worms to the surface, if you sprinkle a little water on the top, the worms come up out of the top as well, so it's easy to see. But we had a great big fish tank. It was something like a 20 or 30 litre tank with lots and lots of worms in. But it was really interesting to see, because we layered sand and dirt and leaves and sand and dirt, and I think we put in like kitchen scraps and then some more dirt, and it was really interesting to see everything get moved around through the different layers where they tunneled and made their way through. That was really, really fun thing.
I want to do it on a bigger scale now. Might have to give it a go.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, let's take that down. Some people weren't here at the beginning and they might have missed our other guests, which is why they're probably wondering why Rob keeps asking chicken questions. So that's been, let's see. We use that layout? No, but that one big. There we go. So that's this week. This week's exciting event for me has been the chick arrival. It's been very exciting to see them. There we go. And again, that's a great activity to do with kids, but you'll have to have the necessary equipment. Let's see what we have going on in the chat. We are hosting chicks today.
It is very windy today. It was here. We're in the northeast England, and it's been very, very windy here and cold.
My electric fence had blown away and was in the hedgerow this morning. So I had to go fetch it back and put it up quickly before Kevin decided to go for a roam. Just fed him breakfast and got it up really, really quickly. We did have hail here as well.
Oh, I say it was sunny. It was sunny. It was nice in the sun when the wind was down, but the wind was piercing when it goes right through your body. It was like that today.
Yeah, it was not nice.
Oh, I love that, Jay. I love that idea.
Yeah, so letting the kids grocery shop in the garden with supervision, provoked many discussions.
Yeah.
And we always had like an area in the garden where the children were allowed to harvest whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things. Obviously, they could harvest whatever they had grown. But there were always sugar snap peas. There were always baby carrots. There were always radishes. Just like a help yourself buffet. And there were some of the soft fruits they were allowed to help themselves too. But obviously, there were areas where they weren't. Otherwise, we'd have had no strawberries as grown-ups. They'd have had them all.
Yeah.
Jason's trying to keep 10 degrees in chilli space, so Jason had to move some of his chilies to the allotment because
Yes.
we're out of space at home.
I know. I keep every time he puts a video on, I'm looking to see if they've all survived. The amount he put there.
Yeah. But it seems 10 degrees inside the chilli space. Hopefully that'll be all right. Yeah, cold and windy in Hackney, London. Okay, fake Yelp reviews. I like that. Yeah, in junior school we had some chicks under lights, and then the chicks. It was a great learning curve. It is.
Yeah.
I have to say, these guys in a week will be going to the farm, and they'll still have the heat lamp, and they'll be fine. But after about a week to 10 days, they start to smell. I don't want
Yes,
them
they do. Last time we had them in our bedroom. And I was telling you, wasn't I? We had the light on, and they're just because they had the heat lamp on rather than one of them heat mats. They just stayed up all night tweeting. It was an absolute nightmare. But we've got a dog and cats, so we had no choice but to keep them in like a separate room. And I didn't want to put them in with the children, so although they would have probably liked it, but it was it was nice. But then the scurrying is when they're scratching about, and then you think, has the rodent got in? Is there when you're trying to go to sleep in the night?
I love the first week, and then after that they get a bit poopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old Kevin. That is the great thing about him. He absolutely loves his food. So if all else fails, just show him some food, and he'll find his way to it. That's what you got there. I cast a spell for winds to take away the sparky. Gosh. It wasn't just 60 years ago. I think in the 70s and 80s, we have much more freedom to do things outdoors as well. I think it changed sometime in the early 90s or 70s.
Yes,
indoor focus.
I'm 38, and I think so. I was growing up in the 90s, and it was then when I was a teenager that things like games consoles and everything and phones were more available. So I did have a very outdoorsy childhood, and that's what I've tried to give my children. I say to them, I try to give you a 90s upbringing. Do you know? So it was like the outdoorsy, not attached to their phones and stuff. They have the phones and the games consoles, but I've always done that outdoorsy thing as well.
Yeah, I think so. When we got married in 97, we moved abroad. And when we left, everything it had moved on from the 1980s, but it was quite similar. You know, kids went to the park and played, and there were the consoles, but there weren't the mobile phones. Kids didn't have mobile phones in 1997 particularly.
Yeah.
When we returned in 2000, it was night and day because we'd gone away we were in Cyprus for 3 years. It hadn't kept up with the UK. And when we came back, it was quite stark and shocking. You know, we arrived back and our parents had mobile phones. That was weird. I think a lot of damage was done with that free reign with the phones coming about.
Yeah.
And Sean still watches those gardening films from the BBC archives on YouTube. Some of those are absolutely brilliant. I love the wartime garden ones as well.
Yeah.
The wartime garden programs are brilliant. Sean's gone. We're all 4 seasons today. Wind, sleet, snow, rain, and sun. Crazy. Feels like winter again. It's the time last week it was 17 degrees. It didn't feel cold here until the hail came down, and then it was only cold while it was hailing, and then it was back to being warm again. Yes, chicks smell after a while, Jenny. I'm sorry to say.
Especially when they knock the water. Keep knocking the water over as well.
I got told off at the school because they had chicks, and I told my kids they feed the male chicks the mongooses at the zoo. My kids told all their friends. do you know what
happens, isn't
it? Zoos will take your male baby chicks if you don't want them and feed them to the exotics. A lot of snake keepers are quite happy to take baby chicks off your hand. I haven't done that. I tend to give them a life, and up until the point they go in my freezer if they're unwanted. But I just feel it's a bit mean taking their life, and what's that hard to come out of an egg?
Yeah,
they need to have at least some time in the sunshine on the pasture.
So when we hatched in school, it was hard. It was before we had chickens again, and they basically who we'd got them off wouldn't come and get them. We had to rehome them, and we got, I think there were 90% male that came out, so it was practically impossible.
That happened. I hatched, I think, 18 chicks, and I had 4 or 5 females from the whole lot.
I did see a thing on Susan in High Country Homestead. She had read something the other day about incubated chicks are more likely to be males, and I don't know what the science is in it, but it just intrigued me because the times we've incubated, we've always had male heavy. It's just made me think a little bit, but I don't know how it'd work scientific wise, but it's just, she mentioned it on her live the other night, and I was thinking, that it makes sense, but I'm not sure. I don't understand it completely.
Female than male this time.
Mm-hmm.
So the chicks I've hatched this time are auto-sexing, so I'll get them out actually. Don't want to come, okay? I think that's what it's hard because the light's red. There we go.
Sean the gardener, the sound of a cockerel. We're getting one off my dad, and he's huge, but he's got a really deep. He's got a really deep voice rather than the high one.
Yeah. Well, these are one male, one female. The males come out fluffy and yellow, and the females come out with the dark colour. So you know from day one. So it's helpful, and that's because of the parentage. So the male for those are a Rhode Island Red, and the mothers were the light Sussex, and that's the benefit of that cross, is that you know who's who. There we go. Sean, news keep chickens the most lovable fun things on earth. Well, apart from Mavis, who had the attitude. There's always one mean one, isn't there?
What breed was she, Sean? So I've got a light Sussex who's got attitude, Gertrude. She was our first hatch, and she's the biggest madam ever.
Bring out the chicks. Yeah, my light Sussex are quite friendly.
Yeah, she's friendly, but she's a little madam.
Yeah. What's that? I love the cockerels at the Royal Cornwall show. They look so beautiful. I have a soft spot for roosters. I would keep so many roosters if I could, but obviously you can't keep them together because they pick on each other. They don't get on very, very well, but they have the biggest personality. When I go to choose chicks, I always go, "Oh, that one looks really fun and interesting," and I get them home, and they all turn out to be boys.
Yeah, my dad's got 3, and they're just all different characters. Like, one's tiny but with the biggest attitude. Then he's got the one that loves climbing on top of things and escaping and just shouting all the time. And then there's the big one that we're getting, and he's really deep, and he's like a friendly giant. He's beautiful. He's just so lovely. Do you know, he just walks about with because he's got the feathers right down his legs. He just looks like he's got cowboy
Booted.
chaps on. Yeah. But he's
What
got a
breed is
really
he, or
low
is he?
voice. Sorry?
What breed is he?
I can't remember. I'll have to ask my dad. I can't remember. I just know he's big because the Dean's called him Turkey because of how big he is. It's like he's huge, absolutely huge.
Cool. Oh, Jay, have you seen Jay's messages? There, she's. She's on a roll. Oh, there we go. There. And Sean got in on the action as well. Well, yeah, Rhode Island Reds are good layers. So Rhode Island Reds are really good layers. White Sussex are really good layers. If you don't have much space, the Pekin Bantams are quite good layers too. But poultry is next week's topic. Yeah. There we go. Cracking me up. Okay. Well, we've caught up on all the chit chat. So, no, somebody else. Oh, guys, gonna have to stop that. Okay, so I think we're at the end of our chit chat. We're nearly at the end, top of the hour, so we're going to go in a couple of minutes. But please, if you haven't already, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. And that's been really nice having you. It's been really lovely chat today. I also put up on my screen my email. If anybody wants to join me on a live, or they want to message me about a topic they want me to cover, or anything really, that's my email. It's also available on my homepage, on the landing page for the channel in the description. And I would like to say thank you to everybody. I'm just going to very quickly talk about next week's show, which is next week's live Backyard Revolution. Discover the joys of raising chickens, quails, and ducks. And I'm covering this again because I did a terrible live stream where my sound played up. But I'm also going to include some new information in that one as well. So that's next week's topic for everybody. And I'd like to say thank you all very much for being here. Just going to have one last browse at the comments to make sure I haven't missed everything. I might see you at the spring show. Yes, Sean. If I do go on the Saturday, I will message you first. And maybe we can meet up. But I don't know. It depends on if my husband's recovered from his week at work. It's been quite a week. He works in school. And I would love for you to join me. That would be brilliant. And there are more terrible jokes in the comments. Okay. Well, thank you everybody very much for joining us. It's lovely to see you, and take care, and I will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everybody.